Hello again, thank you again for watching now video number 3. If you haven't watched the previous videos, now you can check the links right here for video number 2, or also you can check the links below for video number 1 and 2 as well. So if you watched video number 1 and video number 2, now you understand the setup, the initial setup, what the panels are, the main window, and the source switcher, which is the main menu on the main window. You now understand how to switch cameras, how to bring a guest into your main window, and also you understand how to share your screens. Now let's go for video number 3, where I'm going to be explaining how to set up the scenes and how to explain the overlays. So let's do it. One thing that you need to consider when you're creating the scenes is to plan ahead. Every time you plan ahead, you are saving yourself a lot of time. So you need to plan ahead. Which cameras are you're going to use, which overlays are you using on each one of the scenes, and how you're going to organize your presentation going from just one single camera, if you're bringing someone else into the main window right here, if you're using both cameras, if you're using a timer, if you're using different icons. So plan ahead before you start working, because it's going to save you not just time, but a lot of headaches in the meantime while you're presenting. Now, let's see how you can open or bring the scenes panel, because this one is the only one that is not available right here. Everything else is listed right here. So as you can see, if I click each one of these, they appear or disappear. And this, of course, is the preferences. But there is no options for the scenes. I can see my scenes right here in this occasion, and I can show the scenes window by either going here or going into the main menu at the top of the application and show the scenes window. And you can also bring it by on your Mac keyboard by pressing the Command key and the backwards slash. So those 3 options for you to bring the scenes back. For you to start working and start creating a scene, you have 2 options again. You can either click this plus sign right here, or you can just go into Scene, New Empty Scene. And every time you create a new scene, it's going to be shown right here in this part. Right here is only one scene, which is the default scene. You can name this by actually double clicking the name, and you can name it, let's just put right now cam on. So right here I can select my main camera. I can select right now, like I said before on my previous video, on video number 2, I have 2 cameras, my webcam, which is the one that I'm using for my computer, or my DSLR camera, and I'm going to select that one. Alright, so normally what I do is I have a scene with my timer, I scene with my camera only, I scene with social media icons, I scene for a browser if I need to, I scene for a presentation if I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm presenting, and I scene with, let's say in this occasion, or I'm interviewing someone and I want to bring someone in my screen. So based on those, based on that organization, that's how I'm going to set up my scenes. I can adjust them later, of course, and I can organize them as I go, depending on oh, I forgot something, then I can just add it or I can delete it. So I have created my cam only, and I'm going to create another scene, and I'm going to call this one timer. I'm going just to drag it and put it on top of the cam only scene, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways for you to put a timer. It can be either a graphic that you have created on your own, or it can be the Ecamm timer. So I'm going to put my timer. I have my cam only, and I'm going to create another scene, and I'm going to call this one social media icons. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to create another one. This one I'm going to call it presentation. This one I'm going to call it guest 1. This one I'm going to call it double cam, and this one I'm going to call it guest in. This is just an example. So I'm going to organize this. I'm going to leave this at the end just because this is the part that I normally show at the end when I'm finishing my presentation, so people can see my social media icons and the different names of every such a channel I'm using, so they can follow me there too. So I have my timer, I have my cam only, my presentation, guest 1, double cam, which I'm going to be using both cameras. Just to show you an example, the guest and me. I'm just going to make this guest 1 and me. In case if I have more guests, you can just follow the same process. And I have my social media items. Like I said before, if you want to do something else, you can still add in. If you want to replace something, just do it. I have 7 different types of overlays. I have text overlays, image overlays, videos overlays, camera overlays, countdown overlays, comments overlays, and widget overlays. All those are different types of overlays I can place on each one of my scenes. Okay, now I'm going to bring my timer into this particular scene. Make sure before you do something and you start including overlays to each particular scene is that scene is selected. If you don't select that particular scene, you're going to put your graphics on a different scene and maybe you're going to get confused. So make sure that particular scene where you're putting your graphics in is selected by just double clicking. Once it's selected, you can come here at the bottom menu of the overlays panel and you can select whatever you want to put here or whatever you want to add here as an overlay. In this case, it's going to be an animation I have created in After Effects. I come here and I bring my time. Make sure every time you create a graphics or any type of animation, you record it or you render it as a PNG or backgroundless format or file. Otherwise, it's going to cover whatever is behind it. So make sure it's like if you're bringing a lower third, you're bringing a timer like this, you're bringing anything, is backgroundless. That way you can put it on top of your video, the video that is coming from your camera. So I have my timer. So if I go back to my main camera and then I want to, let's say, go back to my timer, that's how it's done. On my second scene, I want to include something that represents my brand. So I'm going to choose my graphics overlay and I'm going to go into my logo, select that one, and I'm going to move it wherever I want to put it. So if I want to put it right here, I just put it right there. If I want to bring it on the other side, whatever I want to do. So, okay, on my third scene, I want to step up a little bit. So I want to start sharing something, some browser or a video or a PowerPoint presentation. You can start including those here. If you want to start bringing things up a little bit for your audience, so I make sure it's selected and I'm going to bring this part right here, which is the second icon, and I'm going to share whatever is happening on my background on the background of my computer. In this occasion, is my current application, or I can select it from here from the menu. If you don't quite understand this part, I suggest to you to watch video number 2, where I explain how you can start sharing different things on Ecamm Live. So I can just do it this way, or I select the whatever screen I'm using to hold my presentation. So I'm going just to select the Microsoft PowerPoint option and I can start presenting, of course. So you can just start talking and you can have this little section right here if you want to. If not, you can just make it this. I'm going to bring whoever I'm interviewing. In this case, let's just pretend this is someone I'm interviewing, so I can bring that person into this particular scene. I can also add myself to it, like by selecting the other camera by either pressing Shift and selecting the camera I want to bring, or also by pressing the plus and sign button. Also, I can do it by just pressing this little icon right here for the PIP, which is the picture-in-picture, and I can select the picture-in-picture option to bring the camera, so I can interact with that. And I can go back to my main camera, and if I go back to this one, I have these two options. So whatever you want to do, you can start adding different things to your presentation. Now I have created my guest one, and then I'm going for my double camera. So pretty much it's the same concept as I explained before. So I want to bring my second camera, and I can just add it this way. And now I want to bring the same thing the same way. I want to bring my guest. So I can either add it by pressing this plus icon or shift and just double click. And I can bring my guest, and I can be talking at the same time with my guest, and people are going to see the both of us at the same time. And then final, I need to create my social media icons. So now I'm going to bring my social media icons. I make sure that particular scene is selected, and I'm going to just bring right here my social media icons, and I can just add them like this. That's how you start bringing different items. So let's say, for example, you want to add your own timer, but you don't have a graphic. You can add it from Ecamm. So I'm going to hide this one. So I'm going to click here where it says the little numbers, the 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to add a timer. Now I can customize this as I want to. So I can select that type of font that is going to have my timer. If I want it to be bold, I can add the duration of the timer. So in this case, I'm going to put 5 minutes, and of course the alignment I can select right here to go to the next scene when it's finished, and I can change the background. Of course, if it has a background or something, you can add a background. Play with these different instructions to kind of customize it the way you want it. So let's say I want a background, and I'm going to select the colors of my company. So I do that, click here, and I just add it. So I can do that, and I can make it bigger, and I can put it on the side. If you want to still customize it or something, you can just double click in the options, or you can also click the little pencil. You can play with this. You can add a shadow or a light glow, or whatever you feel more like it. You can deselect the effect, click save. It's ready to go. You can resize it. You can put it right here on the side, and now you have the time. So you can play with this. You can either with this one, or you can add something like this, something more customized to your own style. So whatever you want to do, that's how you do it. Now let's say, for example, I want to add let me go to my cam only. Now if I want to add text, which is another way to start adding overlays to every scene, I want to, in this occasion, add, let's say, for example, my name or the name of my company or an announcement I want to make. So let's say in this occasion I want to add my name as a lower third, and I choose the background, that type of font I want to use, and that size. And if I want it to be center or I want to be on the sides, whatever, I can adjust it, and I can choose from a fixed position to fly in or scrolling to. So if I want to create an animation to fly in when I start that particular scene, I can do it, and I just add it. So every time I start this scene, this is going to show up. I can play with this once. Let's say, for example, I want to put it right here. I don't want it to be in the middle, so it covers my face or anything else. And I want, by this little icon right here, you can just select it or unselect. Every time you start your scene, you can do that by just clicking here, and it shows your name. That is one way to do it. Now I want to add something else. Let's say I want to announce something, presentation I'm doing maybe in a couple weeks or something. So let's say, join us on our next presentation next week. And you, of course, you write whatever you need right here, and then you scroll and ticker. It's going to be crossing your main window, so people will see it. You can start adding it that way, and you just click it. So you can just put it whatever you need to put it at. Let's say you put it right here. Again, don't worry, this part right here is not going to be seen by nobody. So once you take your mouse from there, it's going to disappear. So you can see the text now running through your screen. Now, if you want to change the speed of it, you can make it slower so people can really see it, or you can make it faster depending on what it is. That's how you can start adding or start increasing the engagement in your on different scenes. Now let's say you want to add an animation you have created, your lower third. So I'm going to do the same process as I did before with my timer, and I'm going to select my lower third, which is this one right here. So it shows up right here, the animation. Now I have these different options right here of what I want to do every time I'm bringing an animation into it. I can either loop it or hide it when or do nothing, depending on what I want to do. So if I want to hide it, let's say I want to play it back again. So if I played it, once it's finished, it disappears. It's no longer there. So it's the same thing with either a video or anything you're bringing into your own presentation. That's how you start playing and spicing things up a little bit more. You can also start bringing your audience comments by just dragging into your main window for you to show them up. I don't have comments right here to show you that, but once you have comments, you can just drag them and drop them right here, and it'll show on the screen the comments of the people who is commenting about your video or anything, or asking questions. You can bring them live and people can see them. That's how you do it, and then you can customize them the same way as I did with the text. So I encourage you to do it. Once you have some comments, you can bring them in, and then you can play with that to get used to how they bringing the comments into life for people to watch them, to see them while you're presenting, and how they look when you're presenting. Now, talking about the camera overlays, these are different things I can do. This can play as a VIP version of it, that you can change things right here, and you can select your camera or the guest or whoever you want to bring into this particular scene, and you can just add whatever and change the way it looks. You can start adding different camera overlays. So let's say you're bringing guest number 1, and then you can select guest number 2, same thing, and you can resize it, and you can start interacting with people at the same time. Now you can also bring widgets. This is a part that I don't going to explain in detail, because this is for let's say using a third-party widgets from a different website. But the way you can do it is to click right here where it says has the little world icon, and you click there, and I can just add the name of the widget and select the URL, and I can just of course select the size that I want to overlay to have, and then I can add. In this occasion, let's say if you are starting with widgets, you click right here. Now you can have this page right here where you can have different widgets, and you can select different things that you can bring into your own presentation. So these are the type of widgets you can bring, or any other type of widgets from your from different URLs. So I encourage you to kind of play with it and see how much you can bring into it. So we have covered pretty much all the different widgets you can bring to make your presentation very, very professional. So every time you bring something, make sure you know exactly what's going to be on each scene. So you know for sure that every time you switch scenes, you're switching to the right scenes that contains the right information in it. It can be like, again, a presentation, a video, a browser, anything. So that's how you pretty much set up the scenes, the overlays on every scene, and how you start organizing your presentation from scratch. And now you're going to look more professional, and you have more versatility in order to present and engage your audience better. Okay, we have finished with video number 3. This is a little longer than usual, based on the information that I have provided to you, because I want you to get familiarized yourself with how to create the scenes and how to understand the different overlays and the different possibilities that you have when you're creating a presentation. I hope this is helpful for you to start bringing more engagement to your presentation, and also to create a more professional presentation when you go online. So thank you again for watching, and I see you on video number 4. See you again.